Hagitten Shalom Bracha. This week is Pashas Dvarim, Erev Tisha B'Av. I would like to go into what Tisha B'Av has to do with Indian from Nida, Thayras המשפחה. And so we will dive in right away. It says in the Navi, actually in the beginning of Eicha, the first Perik, Be'ikr is all, believe it or not, is all about how Klal Yisrael became a Nida. The whole understanding of the Klal Yisrael going into Golus is understood by the Navi as a Isha Nida. Eicha Yashva Badad. How is it that the Yishalayim, which was a major city, the most look after city in the whole world, ended up being all by itself? Badad. The city which was full of people, millions of people used to come to Shalosh Agolim. Hoysaka Almana was like an almana missing its husband, so too Yishalayim became like an almana, or sitting all by itself. That's number one. Number two, the Navi goes on, it says, Rabasi Bagoyim Sarasi Bamdinois. Yishalayim was the city in the world. It was like a general in front of to all the other, it was like a sar, like a general to all the other Medinas. How could it be that was so powerful, so great? Hoysel Lamas ended up coming Meshubed, had to giving taxes for other countries. By night, we could cry and the tears come on our cheeks. It has no menachem from all its friends. Yishalayim had big friends. Everyone looked up to it. It was Rabasi Bagoyim Sirosmi Medina is now Ein La Menachem. It's such pain and no one's looking out afterwards. Kol Rayel Bagdiba. All its friends were bigoted in it, turned their back on it. Hoylal Oivim. All its friends turned into enemies. Golsa Yehida Ma'ini Mareva Avoda. Yehuda went into Golus from poor and from so much work. Yashav Goyim, while he was in Golus between the Goyim, Leimatzim and Noach, couldn't find any menucha. Kol Reit fell, Bein Hasiku, Bein Tzarim. All the wolves that chased it got it, was massacred, got them. Bein HaMetzarim, while they were running away, in between the borders, they were caught and they went into Golus. The Navi over here speaks about four things. How Yishalayim was all by itself, Eicha Yashar Badad, like an almana, and how it fell from such greatness became so low, so powerful. It was like the general to all the countries, and it ended up being Meshabet to everyone else. It was from the power and the greatness it fell down. And it was so loved and so admired. And the third thing was, it had so much covet. It was so loved and so admired. It had all its friends. Everybody wanted it. Everyone looked up to it. Ended up, all those people that loved him turned their back on it. And that's why over here it says, Bochei Sifk B'Layla in this part, because the hardest, deepest pain was when all its friends turned their back on it. That touched the deepest part. And the fourth thing is, it went into Golus. Four things. It went all by itself. It became like a mana. It fell from its greatness, and it fell from its chashivas. It means power, and looked up from its covet, and went into Golus. And the Navi goes on, elaborates on these four things. Darker Tzion Avelois b'mibli bo yemoyed kol sherer shomemim. Darker Tzion, the ways of Tzion was empty. No one came during the Shalosh Regolim. Koyanel, that's number one. That's Eicha Yoshesh Bodod. The second thing, Koyanel Nanochem. It's Kahanim Mar Krechtzing. they're aching, they're in pain. By Silsel, Nugais, V'hu Marla, all the girls, the beautiful, lovely girls are all in pain. Marla, Hoyitzarel, Roish, its enemies became its on top of it, it was shailt in it. Ki Hoiga Hashem, Al Roi Pishoel. So this is the second thing, that because of its avonos, all the other nations were shailt in it, and the most beloved people of the nation, the Kehanim and the Psulos, they were in full of pain under the enemy's rule. That's the second thing, is that from the power, it fell down. And then the Navi goes on, the fourth thing, its children went into Galus in front of the enemy. All the beauty left Tzion. Its generals were like deer that ran away. They were running in Galus. They didn't find a place to pasture. And they went in front of the enemy into Galus without any koyach. And that is the fourth thing, that they went into Galus. Again, it was all by itself. No one came to for Shalosh Galim. Its Kehanim and the girls were full of pain, the most beautiful, most under the rule of the enemy. It means they went from so high to so low, so power, so low. And they went into Galus. And the fourth thing is that when they fell, no one helped them. When they were falling in front of the enemy, no one came to help them. Just the opposite. All the enemies were looking and laughing in it. No one came to help them. They had so much people that loved them, so many countries that loved them, but when it came the time of falling, they all laughed at them. And that's the third thing that we spoke about, the hashpala from the kfay that covered the head. Those are the first 9 psukim. Those are 4 things, 4 ideas: the being alone, losing its power, losing its kavod, and going in galus. And the Navi goes on now to explain in graphic what this is like and why it happened. Because Yerushalayim, the Ira Basiyam was chayte, Yidden were did Averis in Yerushalayim. Al Kain lenida hoisa. That's why it became like a nida. It means it became like a almana. It came all by itself. Nida, just like an almana is all by itself, so to a nida is by itself. And what was the einish that it became like a almana? Because it did chetam. Chet chat yishlayim al kain lenida hoisa. So that's going back on the first thing. Why was it all by itself? Hashem was goes on it to be like a ishanida. That's all by itself. Kol machabdel hizilihu. All the people that machabed it. This is the third point we pointed out. The covet, they gave it covet. All the ones that loved it. All because it's chashiris. All of a sudden, it got cheap in their eyes. It got disgusting in their eyes. Why? Ki roi ervasa. Because they saw its erva. It was a bechina from Gili Arayis. When we're talking about someone becomes a nida, we're talking about erva, because the nida comes from the erva. And when we know there's a nida, we see her bezoyin is in Zgala. The Isha of the bezoyin from the Isha. That's one of her reasons she's in pain, because she's a nida. And that reference to her bezoyin is kiroi avasa. They saw her erva. That's where the nidus comes from. So why did its loved ones all of a sudden be disgusted of it and laugh at it? Is kiroi ivasa, because she became a nida, and the nida by a nida it's mizgala, the Indian from her erva. But that wasn't enough. Timasa bishuleha, her tama was on the bottom. It means to say that the dam nidas came out and fell to her bottom of her clothing, and everyone was able to see it. What does that show us? What's that idea? She fell down terrible. That's the second thing we discussed. How she fell from its chashivas, not just from its kavod, from its power, its greatness. It fell down. The pasuk goes on. That the oivim, re'ei Hashem, look Hashem, ki aniv on my pain, ki higdal oiv, because the oiv got strong. Yodai poras tzara kol machmadel, his hands he put on all our beloved stuff, which is the Torah, the Beis Hamikdash. Ki rasa goyim boyim mikdosha, the goyim came into the Beis Hamikdash, asher tzavisa l'yuv b'kalach, that the Ammon and Moav, they were not allowed to come to Klal Yisrael, they actually came into the Beis Hamikdash. Maybe we should tell that they can't be part of us, even though and they came in. That pain of the Oivim, which they took control of the Yidden, that's the biggest hashpala, not just Stam Goyim Oivim came and took control of us. Who took control of those that weren't allowed ever to be part of us? That is the biggest hashpala of our greatness. That those that were always kept out took control of us. So that is the fall of our power. Those are the three things which the Navi talks about, how she became a Nida. First of all, she became a Nida, so she was all by herself. Yerushalayim got lost of all its inhabitants. Number two, they saw her, Anida sees it comes from an erva, and that makes her look cheap, makes her look embarrassed, makes her look mios. And that's why all her loved ones turned their back on them. All of a sudden got disgusted from her. And the third thing is, which is the second thing we spoke about, Timusa b'shilal, that the dam nidas ended up in a place that everyone was able to see it. What does that mean? When a woman could see her clothing come with dam nidas, that brings her down to the lowest possible. Not just that it becomes mios, that's a statement. That's a statement of where she's holding. She's a nida. Everyone can see that she's a nida. What does that show? That's a statement of where they were holding. They fell from so great. They were so beautiful. They were so powerful. Now, what's their badge? The Star of David. That's their badge. Everyone has to see they have a Star of David. They're making fun of it. That becomes disgusting. Their symbol of greatness turned into a sign of disgusting. That's Tumah B'Shilel. That's Tumah B'Shilel. But there's a fourth thing we didn't speak about, which is they went into Gullus. And that's what the Navi goes on, keeps on going on. Lo yaleichin kol over derech. Habitirim yesh look at me, all the people that come see me. Have you ever been hidden in pain as much as I've been in pain? From heaven Hashem sent down a fire to my bones. And he disintegrated and made it come down. Parash Rashes Raglai, he spread out a trap to my feet. Hashivani Ochar, Nesinani Shamema, he made me shamim, empty, desolate. Kol hayoim, a whole day, dava. What does this mean? What the Psukim is saying? So the Talmud says Hashem sent down a fire from heaven and burnt my bones. What that means is that all the in the olden times, the power of a nation, what held it strong was through walls, the chaymis, and Hashem burnt the chaymis. He destroyed the chaymis. It was a marshal of the fire coming down from heaven and letting the Umas Ha'olam, the nations, destroy the chaymis of Yerushalayim, destroy the chaymis of Eretz Yisrael, and take over. Parash Ragesh Laglei, Hashem put a trap to my feet. Means what it means is that the Yidden wanted to go, they got caught. They caught them. They trapped them. They were on the Goyim got them. And that's how they went into Galus. They got trapped. So what does that mean? That through what the Eibush destroyed the chaymus of Eretz Yisrael, the chaymus of the cities of Eretz Yisrael, through that they were able to capture the Yidden and take them in Galus. Kol hayoyim nisanani shamema, and through that Eretz Yisrael was shamim, was empty, desolate, because they went into Galus. Kol hayoyim, a whole day, davoi. So I'm not sure what the exact touch of davoi is in our context. But what it does mean, definitely means over here is, it's referring to another point in what an Isha Nida is. Davo, it says in the Pasuk that the Torah calls a Nida Hadava benidasa. That we were a whole day like an Isha Nida, that's what it means. Isha Nida, what Dava means, it's the leakage of the dam. It means we spoke about, she's a Nida, her erva, her dam on the clothing, but now we're talking about her atzam leakage of the dam, the zav, where the dam is zav from her. What does this mean? Where is this coming over here? And as we said, Hashem sent fire from heaven to burn the Chaymis Yishalayim that they're coming. And that is Lu'umas, what the Klal Yisrael's Nimshal Ishal Nida, which the dam comes down from her, the various that the dam should be expressed like a dam coming down from her. So too Hashem sent down fire from heaven to burn the Chaymis Yishalayim. And that is the most chamadik thing of a nida, is actually her seeing dam. Actually seeing a dam, that is the time when she sees dam, that is the height of her nidas. Yes, there's the kiyas, the zachen. Actually seeing dam, that is the most chamadik time of a nidas. If it's not halachic, because not until she goes in mikveh, it's all the same. But that is the height of her nidas. And that was the shleimus of the Klal Yisrael went to Golus. That we're talking about over here, how Klal Yisrael went to Golus. This is the fourth part of what we're talking about. This is all about Isha Nida, and this is the fourth thing, that the Dava, that she actually was seeing dam. And the Nabi goes on and says, Perisha tziyam biyadeo, ei menachem lo, Tziva Hashem Yaakov Tziva V'Tzorav Hoysi Yishalayim L'Nida B'Neim. I'll just be Mekatzer. Rashi explains that now the pasuk is saying that even after they went into Golus, Hashem was misaviv with them, all their enemies around them. Wherever we went in Golus, the enemies were with us, and that's why even in Golus we were like a nida. It means we left Eretz Yisrael the status of a nida. Hashem took away our covet. We became naked of our covet. We became naked of our power. Yishalayim was B'didus all by itself. And all these three things we took with us in Golus. We don't have our power. We don't have our shivas. Everyone discussed this from us, and we are a nida even between the goyim. That is the tier of, until here we have in Eicha, almost the whole first parak, about how the Navi's Matar, these the Golus, the Klal are going in Golus, and with these four stages of a Isha Nida. And the Navi in Cheskel says, Ben Adam Beis Yisrael Yoshem Al Admasam, Yidden are sitting on their land, V'yitami Oisa B'darkam, they were metamet in their ways, V'aloisam, their itzes. Ketimes HaNida Hoisa Darkam Lafana, the Katuma from HaNida, their derech was in front of me. V'eshboicha Masi Aleim, I will spill my anger on them, Al Adam HaShavchi Al Haaretz, on the blood that they spilled on the land, but Galilayim Tamu, and on the Zor that they were metamet themselves, so it's Va'ofetz Ois Magoyim, and I will spread them in Goyim. So the Navi says, what? That their Ketumas HaNida Hoisa Darkam Lafanai, their ways were like, to me, like a Tumas Nida. And because they were noig like a Isha Nida, that's why Hashem punished them to be like a Isha Nida. And that's why the Navi was marach until now, that we're like a Isha Nida. Our whole Golus was like a Isha Nida. Why? Because we actually acted that way. And we say, in Yom Sheni v'Chamishi, Mondays and Thursdays, we say, Our covered by the goyim it has gone down. It became very poor. Our cover, we don't have any cover. Not only do we don't have any cover, we're disgusted like a ishanida, Thomas Anida, which people keep away from. And the Rukeach says, this is going back on what the Navi says, that because in Eretz Yisrael we were like a ishanida, so too in Galus we kept that status as an einish, like a ishanida. And I'd like to point out, it says, Ben Adam Beis Yisrael Yosham Ad Mosam. This lashon we said before in the Navi, Ben Yosham Ad Yisrael Ad Mosam, by Tam Yosam Ad Arkam, by Loisam, Kitimas Hanida Hoysam of Darkam Fan. Tumas Hanida, they acted in front of me. Ve'eshbech Hamasi Alayim, and I'll become anger, I'll spill my anger on them. Why? Because of the Shrichas Damim and Avodah Zarah. So it's interesting to see over here that the pasuk says that we're reading the pasuk. I'll rephrase it just in order to understand what the pasuk is saying. Is that I will spill my anger on them because of their shvichas dam and avodah zarah, which through these actions they acted like a Thomas Nida. What's going on over here? Through shvichas dam and avodah zarah, they acted like a Thomas Nida. What does that mean? And we find something very similar, which is very relevant to our shmuz over here. Because everyone knows what it says by the chet of Adam Rishon Bechava. It says in the Medrash like this. It's a Yishalmi, it's a Tanchume. Omer HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Kadosh Baruch Hu said, Adam Rishon Tchila B'riyosei Haya. Adam Rishon was my first bria, and it's Ta'ala Eitz Hadas, and I told him not to eat from the Eitz Hadas. And Chava says, Atera Isha, it says by Chava, Atera Isha, she saw that it's good. She gave to her husband, and he ate. And she was Goyer Misa L'Olam. Chava was Goyer Misa for the Olam, the world. And it caused to spill his blood. And what does it say? Torah says, Shoifech Dam Adam, Shoifech Dam HaAdam Ba'adam, someone that spills blood of a person. Dama Yeshofech, his blood should be spilled. That's why, it's like the Medrash, because she spilled the blood of Adam Rishon by causing him to die, Tishbach Dama, her blood should be spilled. V'tishmoi nidas, and she should hold nida. Teishyiskapala al Adam sheshavcha, Adam ha'adam sheshavcha, should be kapara on the dam that she was shayfech from Adam Rishon. So what do we see over here? Because she did shrichas damim, that's what she has to do, shmiras nida, the dam of nidas. This is mamash what the Navi says. Why was there ways in Hashem's eyes like a Thomas Nida? Because they spilled blood. This whole thing has to have an explanation. But what do we have from this? What I want to take out from here is that we know that the Churban Beis Hamikdash, Klal Yisrael, is like an Isha Nida. We took down all our milas and everything. We were stripped from all our milas. So too, this is not only in the Churban Beis Hamikdash. This is in the original Churban already. This is the original Churban of Chava. Chava, the idea of Nidas was a tetzah from the chet of Adam Rishon. That we see that the Churban Olam, the Beis Hamikdash was a Churban Prati klapi the Churban of Adam Rishon, which was a Churban against the Welt. The Churban Beis Hamikdash was also klapi against the Welt, but through Klal Yisrael. The original sin was in Adam Rishon. And what did that be? Goyim, that was Goyim Dam Nidus. Dam Nidus is the outcome of a Churban. So too, Klal Yisrael went into Golus, was another Churban, like a Churban of Adam Rishon. We were Nidoin, like a Isha Nida. That detachment from the source, that is Churban, that's Isha Nida. All that pain that comes with it. Well, Isha Nida is in a lot of pain. Just being a Nida is a pain. It's tremendous pain. And we have to acknowledge that. That's something we have to acknowledge. Yes, Nidus is Churban. Not being with your husband is a Churban. It's hard. It's hard. It is hard. not being with Nida is a churban. It's the churban. Beis Hamikdash is an nimshal to that. It's something we have to acknowledge. And although it's a churban, though it's hard, it's something that we have to keep to it. And we're supposed to make a binyan Beis Hamikdash through it. As Hashem, hopefully next week we'll get into how the nechama from this. What's the nechama? And the Navi goes on in Yecheskel, V'zrakti aleichem mayim toirim. To see what the Mefarshim over there say. That's the mikvah. But now we're holding in the Yom of Nidus, Yom of Chorben. And that's something we have to acknowledge. Yes, it's hard to be a Nida. How many girls express themselves, how many men, especially here from the woman. If only I could give her a hug or a kiss to my husband. It's so hard. Just yesterday. It's hard. It's very hard. Yearning for that closeness. It's painful. But I'll add something. It's funny that we only talk about the pain of a nida, which came of Chet of the Rishon. But let's not forget, Adam Rishon didn't have to work before the Chet Adam Rishon. What happened afterwards? He had to work, he had to plow. Today's days, the work is a joke compared to what they used to do all along for the last 5,500 years. Wake up early in the morning, come back late at night, 6 days a week. It was very, very hard work. What was that? Because the Chet Adam Rishon. So yes, it's hard for a woman to be a nida. She's all alone. She doesn't have her husband. But she has to remember, she only has that a few days a week, a few days a month. Let's say half a month. The husband has to go most of the month and work very hard. He goes away from his house. He would love to be with his wife a whole day. Naki yilabeise shana achas. He has to be there a whole year, the first year with her husband, with her wife, his wife. He needs her. He needs that love. He wants to be with his family. But he has to work a whole month. It's very hard. It's not easy. Yes, so the Isha has to be a Nida. But let's not forget, the husband has to go work. Husband has to do for the house. But yes, we have to acknowledge that it's hard, and that's the Chorban of Beis Hamikdash, and that's the Chorban of the Golus, and that's Bez Hashem, which we zeicht and Nechama. Bez Hashem, hopefully discuss this in Mitzat Nechama. Bez Hashem next week. We see that the Nechama is tackled like a tahara from this nidus. The outcome, to turn this, it says that someone asked me this week, why do we find it says in the Navi says that the days of Avelis is going to turn into Simcha? What's the idea that the days of Avelis will go out of Avelis? We'll have Simcha. Why does the day of Avelis have to become Simcha? And the idea is because the greatest Simcha is when that time that you were in the Sa'abel actually turns into a day of happiness. That itself turns into a day of happiness. That is the biggest Simcha possible. Not just another time. And that is our job to turn this Avelis into happiness, to turn the Nidas into happiness. And that's Bez Hashem will continue to understand. But before we get to this, we have to understand first that it's painful now. That it is painful. Only through the pain are we going to be able to build. Those that plow with tears will cut with songs. So right now we're plowing with tears. Anita is very hard. We understand the hardness. We appreciate the hardness. We live in the moment of the hardness. then we'll be able to take out of that Berina Iktsari, we have to be together with our husbands with much love and simcha. May Hashem help us. These days should be a symbol for happiness and become from Zeri Medimba Berina Iktsari.